buttons that they carry on the air, and maybe you're feeling that. And is the air cool or warm? Is it moving in and out quickly or slowly? Is your breath shallow or deep? And where do you feel movement in your body? Can you feel your rib cage expanding, or your belly, your waist, your chest, your back? Can you feel your shoulders rising and falling? And if you answer no to any of that, that's okay. Maybe there's just one place that you feel it. Maybe you feel it in all places. And begin to consciously deepen your breathing so that as you inhale, your belly expands gently. And as you exhale, your belly contracts. Breathing in and breathing out. Belly expanding and contracting. And take a little longer to inhale and exhale. See if you can create some movement, not just in your belly, but in your ribs as well. And that might require that you take a deeper breath than you're used to. One of the ways to increase your breath capacity is to breathe in deeply. And when you get to the very top of that inhalation, pause for a moment and then see if you can take in a little bit more breath. So again, with every inhalation, get to the top of your inhalation where you would normally stop, pause, and then take in even more breath. Continuing to do that on the inhalation. On the exhalations now, when you get to the very bottom of your exhalation, in other words, where you feel like you've exhaled all the breath that you normally do, pause for a moment and then pull your belly in a little bit and see if you can press out a little bit more breath. So we're exaggerating the inhalation at the very end. We're exaggerating the exhalation at the very end. And what we're doing is actually helping to reset the brain and the breathing mechanisms so that they get a little bit more than we've had. We get used to a certain way of breathing in and out, and we don't realize that there's so much more we have access to. Breathing in, breathing out, getting to the top of your inhalation, pausing and then taking in a little bit more. Getting to the bottom of your exhalation, again pausing and pulling the belly in toward the spine as you press out a little bit more. After your next exhalation, release the control of your breath and go back to your normal breath. So forget about the pause, forget about deepening the inhalations and exhalations. Just go back to what feels natural for you. And just notice if there's a different awareness of breath. And let your eyes gently open. Good. All right. So we're going to start today the same way we did last week, which is to just look over your right shoulder. Don't turn your body, just turn your neck and your head. Look as far over that right shoulder as you can. Notice what you see in your direct vision and in your peripheral vision. Take a mental snapshot of that. And then slowly come back through center. Go all the way over to the left. And again, letting your body kind of settle into this. Notice what you see in your direct vision, what you see in your peripheral vision. Take a mental snapshot of that and come back to center. Okay. So now we're just going to turn from right to left, just the head and the neck. Just going from side to side. So you can go as slowly as you like. You might hear some, let's see, what were the words we had? Creaking, crinkling, waving. There was another word and I forgot it. What was it? Crunch. Oh, crunch. Okay. A little bit of crunch. Necks are noisy, you guys. Let me just say that. Necks are noisy. So just a couple more of these. So you just want to go to a place that is a little bit of a challenge, but, you know, not so easy and not so difficult. Good. And then you're just going to come back to center whenever you get there. We'll just kind of be in this position. So now we're going to do a little up and down like a yes movement. So I'm going to have you take your hands and place them right up here underneath your collarbones. And you're just going to pull down gently, right? So just kind of press in a little bit and pull down just a little gently. It's like your arms are heavy, right? Oh, your arms are so heavy here. And what this does is it isolates the movement to the neck so that we're not getting too crunched in the back and we're not hiking the shoulders up. So as we pull down here, we're just going to do a yes movement. And as you come up, I don't know about you, but boy, I can feel that in the front of my neck this morning. So we're just going up and down. Now when you bring your when you bring your chin down, you want to think about tucking your chin in that little notch between your collarbones. So it's not like you're trying to bring your chin forward or out to your knees. You're trying to bring it down and into that little notch. Almost like you're creating a little bit of a double chin there. So breathe in and breathe out. And sometimes that gets a little confused when we do these kinds of movements, right? We forget that the breath, it's really important to let the breath keep moving in and out. Just a couple more of these. Great. And then relax that. So you're going to continue to hold your hands here, and now we're going to take the right ear and lift the right ear up toward the ceiling. Ooh, and then bring it back down. And the left ear up toward the ceiling. So you're still pressing into your hands, and we're just going from side to side here. And again, with the hands here, kind of doing that little pull down movement, you should feel this mostly in the neck, right? You might feel it in the sides a little bit, but you shouldn't feel it in your upper back. You shouldn't feel it in your chest, you know, down into your chest and your ribs. So keep your head straight, facing me. It's just that we're pulling the ear up toward the ceiling. And you might notice you have better movement on one side than the other. All right. Great, just a couple more of these. Good. And then back to center. Good. Let's just drop the hands for a moment. Close your eyes if you don't mind. Taking some breaths in and out. Notice what you feel in your neck. And then let your eyes open. Okay, so the next movement we're going to do is a forward and backward movement. I always think of pigeons, how pigeons kind of when they walk, they do that little movement. So what we're going to do is press the chin forward and then pull the chin back. And press forward and pull back. And again, you can do a very little movement here. You might even do like this kind of movement, right? Or you might go really far out. So just pay attention to that. What makes it easy for you to breathe? Right? What makes it comfortable for you to breathe? And if there's a little bit of noise in there, that's generally okay. If the noise is a little freaky, just go to that really small movement. Just a couple more of these. Good. Great. And then we'll come right back to kind of that center. So now we're going to do the harder one. So instead of forward and back, we're going to go side to side. like you're trying to bring your right ear way over and then your left ear. So it's like you're moving your head. It's a weird movement, right? Most of us have a really tough time with this. I know I do, right? So like your head is really level. You're not turning your head. You're just moving that ear toward the wall and that ear toward that wall. It's just a little side to side movement. Now I will say that as we age, we have less mobility in certain parts of the body. The neck is one of them. I'm pretty sure that anybody over, say, the age of 40 that gets a neck x-ray, they're going to be told they have some arthritis in there. A little bit of narrowing of the passageways in there as well. Okay, coming back to center. Good. Relax that. And now you're going to take your hands to your shoulders right here. Everybody find those, I call them my golf balls, right? They're like those big, hard kind of, yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. Those are your upper trapezius muscles, and they're tight for all of us, so you're in good company. So what we're going to do now is just kind of pull down a little bit on that. So just, again, imagine your arms are really heavy, right? So your arms are heavy and they're pulling down. You're going to drop your chin down toward your chest and then just sort of roll the head to the side just until your ear kind of gets to where your hand is on that side, and then to the other side. So it's a little, I like to call this kind of a quarter neck roll. So we're not rolling the neck all around, which I don't think is a good thing for us, and I could spend a lot of time explaining that, but suffice it to say, if you do those neck rolls where you roll your head all the way around, if you have some narrowing, a little stenosis, or you have a little bit of arthritis in there, you could pinch a nerve or a blood vessel. And we don't want to do that. So this little quarter turn, this gives us a good range of movement, stretches the upper back and the back part of the neck, and just gives us a little bit more mobility here. Couple more. And then back to center. Release your hands. Let them rest on your lap. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a couple of breaths in and out. Notice your neck and your shoulders. And then let your eyes open. Good. Let's roll those shoulders forward, up, back, and down. So how's everybody doing? Good? Okay. Did that feel good generally? Yeah? Better than last week? Different than last week? Okay. Good. And then we'll roll forward. So practice, right? Getting that movement. And then let's just do the right arm. We're just going to circle that right arm. So feel the shoulder. Now your shoulder, when people say shoulder, it's such an interesting thing because someone will come in to see me in my office and they'll say, oh, my shoulder is killing me. Where is it killing you? Some people will point here, some people will point here, some people go in the back, because that is all your shoulder. And then let's reverse direction, whatever direction you were going in. So the shoulder is a really complex joint. You have a great range of movement here, and not as much stability. So there's lots of places where the shoulder can get a little wonky. Let's get the arm all the way up and circle that around. So go slowly. If bringing your arm way up here creates some pain, go out to here. So work with your shoulder, your unique situation, because we do have unique situations in our shoulders. And breathe. And the next time your arm is down toward the floor, switch direction. So the reason we switch direction when the arm is down toward the floor is because when your arm is up here, your shoulder is in extension and it's much less stable. When your arm is down by your side, your shoulder is where it's supposed to be anatomically, and it's much more stable. Okay, now let's take that arm and sweep it all the way over to the left. Turn the palm up and go all the way to the right, and you can twist. And we're going to just keep doing this with the arm. So twisting. You can twist the body. You can twist your head. If this makes you feel a little dizzy as you're sweeping, you don't have to turn your head. You can keep your head right where it is. Just let this all move. So it's kind of like when I'm doing this, I like to think of my hand moving through water. Right? So there's just this nice fluid flow. Just one more time. And then when we come back to sort of that neutral position, we're going to take the arm all the way down to the right, like you could touch the floor, and then we're going to sweep up and over to the left. and sweep down to the right. And you can even bend a little bit in your seat if you want. So as I come down, I'm going to lean down like I could sweep the floor. And then as I come up, I'm going to lean as if I'm going to kind of lift up into that position. So the more movement you do with the rest of your body, the more the rest of your spine gets to enjoy the benefit of this movement. So it's not just your shoulder now, it's your whole spine, which that's a whole lot of bones there. Good. Are you breathing? More than just a minimal amount, right? Yeah. One more time up and down. Great. And then we're going to come back to center. We're going to take that arm way over to the left. Hold on to the upper arm. Pull it over. Now, excuse me, if this creates some pain in this part of your shoulder, just don't go over quite so far. So we're just going to pull that arm over, turn and look out over your right shoulder. Let's do a little yes movement. So lifting and lowering the chin, breathing in and breathing out. Again, that's the most important thing, guys. If you're not able to do anything else, you can breathe in and out more consciously with more awareness. And then head comes back to center. We're going to release that arm, sweep it around behind your back. Take hold of your arm or your hand or whatever you can grab back there. Give it a little tug over to the side and then drop your left ear toward your left shoulder. We're just going to hold the ear on the shoulder here. Breathing in and breathing out. So it's like your head is really heavy and it just wants to rest on your shoulder. As you breathe in and out, you might feel a stretch here on this right side of your neck. And then slowly lift your head all the way up. Just for fun, let's drop the arms down by the sides. Close your eyes for a moment and notice if your right arm is longer than your left arm. Maybe there's a different sensation in there. Maybe it's warmer or more tingly. Maybe you're just more aware of it. And then you can open your eyes and we'll do a little bit of work on that left side. So again, sweeping the shoulder up and around, breathing in, breathing out. Now you might start out going backwards, you might start out going forwards, but we'll all kind of get everything in there. And again, pay attention to your body. So does this shoulder require a little bit more TLC, a little more care in how you're moving? Or perhaps this shoulder can do a little bit more. And then we're going to reverse direction. So we're going up and around. Good, and breathing in and breathing out. And then let's get the whole arm involved. And as you're doing this, you can move your spine as well. And the same thing on this side. So I mentioned on the other side that when the arm is up in extension, so if it's up overhead, it's a lot less stable. So when we switch direction, we're going to make sure the arm is down here by the side of the body, and then we're going to switch direction. So again, breathing in, breathing out. And anybody who's ever done like a quick movement with your shoulder or reached for something and then pulled it in and went, ow, you know exactly what I mean. That's that unstable shoulder asking it to do a whole lot of work that it's just not prepared to do. Okay, and then the next time the arm comes down, we're going to hold here, and now we're going to take that arm up and to the right and twist a little bit, and then down to the left. Go right down to the floor if you can. And again, just do the best you can. If your movement is here, let it be here. Whatever movement you can do. Breathing in and breathing out. And again, the most important thing is the breathing in and breathing out, right? So if there's a movement you can't do, just breathe. If you'd like to get a little more for your spine, really reach down there like you could touch the floor. It looks great, everybody. Okay, one more time. And then coming up, we're going to take that arm and we're going to sweep it across and then turn the palm up and go all the way around. Turn the palm down. Yeah. Now this might feel a little strange if it's your non-dominant side, right? You might be saying, oh, this doesn't feel as graceful as the other side. So keep breathing in and breathing out like your arm is moving through water, right? Great. And the next time you come across your body, so over to the right, take that arm and just bring it right over. Give yourself like a little hug here and pull that arm in. Now, if pulling the arm in really tight creates a problem here in the shoulder, just back off a little bit. You're going to turn and look out over your left shoulder and lift and lower your chin, like you're saying yes. Breathe in, breathe out. Slow, steady breath. Slow, gentle movement. Head comes back to center. Release that arm. Sweep it around behind your back. Take hold of your hand, your wrist, whatever you can grab back there. And then we're just going to let that right ear find its way over to the right shoulder. And relax into this and breathe. And as you're relaxing into this, see if you can relax your your left shoulder, your elbow, your arm. Relax your jaw. Notice if it feels a little different on this side. And then bringing your head back to center, we're going to release the arms. Let them come down by your sides. Close your eyes. And notice if your arms are once again the same length. Hopefully they are. And then you can let your eyes open. Great. We're going to take the hands together and we're going to interlace the fingers. Sit up nice and tall and you're going to press your palms away as you stretch your hands and bring your thumbs right down toward the floor. So activate your thumbs so you're reaching down toward the floor. Breathing in and breathing out, we're going to bring the arms up overhead. Now, if this is as high as you go, that's as high as you go. If you can get your arms up overhead, that's where you want to go. Breathe in, breathe out. We're going to release the hands. Let them come all the way out and around. We're going to come back and interlace the opposite way. So it should feel very strange. Should feel like you're holding someone else's hand. We're going to do the same thing. Press away. Bring the thumbs right down toward the floor. Breathe in, breathe out, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to come up as high up as you can, and if horizontal is what you've got, that's where you stay. And we're going to bring the arms out. So we're going to do this several times. Each time you interlace your fingers, let it be the opposite way from the time before, right? Breathing in, breathing out. Now you might be going at a different pace, and that's okay. So kind of follow your breath, right? Each time you interlace, just go in a different way. And make sure you engage those thumbs, because they like to just hang out and not do a lot with these kind of exercises. And if you get confused with the way that you're interlacing your fingers, don't worry about it. Just see if you can remain conscious of how that's going. So we'll do that just a couple more times. Good. Tension in your neck and your hands are often quite related, by the way. So if you tend to be tight in your neck, look at what's happening in your hands, right? It's no wonder that people who do a lot of close work, like say computers, knitting, crocheting, anything that creates some tension in your hands, often have tight necks. How about one more time? Can we do just one more time? Good. And then we'll let the hands kind of rest on the lap. Great. So take a moment and just notice what you feel. Okay. And now take your head, turn, and look out over your right shoulder as far as you can. Look back there. Don't turn your shoulders or your body. You're just turning your head. Notice what you see. Direct vision, peripheral vision. Keep breathing as you come back through center and go over to the left. So same thing here. Look around. Notice what you see. Direct vision, peripheral vision. Breathing in, breathing out. Coming back to center. Okay. So how was that second look over the shoulders? Was it different than the first look over the shoulders? Yeah, that's great. Now, how many of you notice a difference going right side, left side in general? Yeah. And that, I would love to say that evens out as you do this more, but the reality is it doesn't. Not for everybody, because we're not symmetrical. When we look at each other, we see two eyes, we see two arms, we see two legs, and we think, oh, there's symmetry in there. But the reality is our right sides and our left sides operate very differently in the world, right? And movement really matters. How you move your body, how you move the right side of your body versus the left side of your body, or your dominant side versus your non-dominant side. I love this little practice. I know I've said this before. One way to really test yourself, to just kind of bring that awareness of the differences in sides, is to go to your front door, your back door, however you get in your house, right? And you just go up with your key and you put the key in the lock and you open the door and you go in and you don't even think about it. Try doing that with the other hand. Try turning your lock with the other hand. You're going to have to think, first of all, about the orientation of the key. And then you're going to have to think about, which way do I turn this to open it? Right? Because your dominant hand just knows how to do it. That pathway, that neural pathway is so well traveled that you don't even have to give it a second thought. And then turning the knob, if you have a knob on the door, which way do you turn the knob to open the door? My left hand has no idea how to do that. My right hand has it down pat. So give that a try. I'd love to hear your feedback too, to see what that does for you. Okay, so let's shift gears. We're going to go to the lower body. You can take your shoes off if you want, or you can keep your shoes on. We're going to extend the right leg. We'll start with that right leg, and we're going to squeeze and extend the toes. So squeeze and extend toes. Now, if you're in your shoes, you still get a little bit of this, which is fine. If you're out of your shoes, you're going to get a little bit more. Notice if you can see your toes, in other words, if you're barefoot or even in stocking feet, you might be able to see if you can notice how your toes are bending, right? So typically your big toe bends straight down. Your other toes, they come in a little bit. They'll curl in a little bit. Do you notice that? Yeah. There's still a little bit of that vestigial gripping that can happen with our feet. Next time you extend your toes, keep them extended and then spread them really wide. So again, you might be limited by your shoe, and that's okay. Just spread them wide. Notice which toes you can see daylight through if you're barefoot, and which ones you can't. So that's just something to notice. Now we're going to relax the foot. Take the foot, slide it back. Keep your toes, the bottom of your toes on the floor as we slide that back a little bit. And make sure you've got every toe on the floor. So oftentimes the little toe will kind of hang out because it's a little bit too short. So you might have to angle your heel out to the side a little bit so that you can feel that. Everybody kind of got the sensation of that? Okay, now press down and breathe. And then relax that pressing. Whew. Let's do that a few more times. So really press down. Make sure that little toe gets its due, right? That's the one that's going to want to just hang on to the toe next to it and not even participate in this. So a couple more times. As you're pressing down, some of you might be having a lot of sensation in the bottoms of the toes and the bottom of the foot, and some of you maybe not so much. Let's press down one more time. We're going to hold here. And breathe. Keep pressing down. Keep breathing. Good, and then relax that, and you're going to come up over your toes and get the top of your foot on the floor. So instead of doing this movement with the foot, now we're doing that movement with the foot, right? So make sure you don't have a lot of weight there. So you want to be relying on this left leg to give you some support. And once again, press down. Whew, and then relax that. So we're going to do that a few times. So just keep pressing down and relaxing. If you press a little more into the little toe side of your foot, you're going to feel more of a stretch on the outside of your lower leg. If you press down a little more into the big toe side of your foot, it's going to be right down the tibia, the front of your shin bone here, and maybe on the inside a little bit. Keep breathing in, breathing out. So identify for yourself what the area of most sensation is. Is it the outside or the inside? And the next time you press down, I'm going to have you go in that direction and hold and breathe. And try and relax your faces, because I can see like so much tension in your faces right now, because this can be pretty intense. Breathing in, breathing out. People who walk a lot, this is a really good stretch to do after your walk. You don't think about the shins as being an important area to stretch because they're little thin muscles there, but boy, they're important. And then relax that. Great. Let's extend that leg. And we'll just kind of squeeze in, extend the toes a little bit. All right, let's bend that knee. We're going to go to the other side. So extend the left. Oh, actually, first of all, put your feet back on the floor for a second. Sorry about that. Close your eyes. And notice if there's a difference in the sensation in your right foot and your left foot. Does your right foot feel wider or flatter or longer? Is it warmer, more tingly? You guys have some great adjectives. Is it crunchy? Is it wavy? So anybody notice a difference? You can let your eyes open. Anybody notice a difference there? Yeah, pretty amazing. So that can have profound effect on your ability to balance. Let me just say that. When you have more awareness of sensation in your feet, it's going to be easier for you to balance and you're going to feel a little more sure-footed when you're out there. So let's take the left leg now. We'll start that same thing. So squeeze and extend toes. Squeeze and extend toes. And just for fun, if you can see your foot, does your big toe go straight up and down? Do those other toes kind of curl in a little bit? Does it feel different on this foot than it did on the other foot? Right? So the same movement feels different. Even though it looks like you have 2 feet that are the same, you really don't. And the next time you extend, spread your toes really wide. Spread your toes really wide. And if you can see your toes, notice where you can see a little bit of daylight. If you can't see your toes, just kind of imagine, like maybe you can't feel the inside of the toes touching. Maybe that's how you kind of get that sense that there's a space in there. So a little bit of space. And then relax your foot there. And we're going to just slide that foot back. We're going to stretch the bottoms of the toes and the underside of the toes here. So when you get your foot back a little bit underneath your chair, check out that little toe. Make sure it's on the floor. Maybe angle the heel out to the side a little bit. And then we're going to press down and relax. And press down and relax. So you might need to bring your foot back farther or forward a little farther. If your foot's too far forward, you're going to feel this just on the balls of your toes, like there. I want you to feel it right under the toes, right under them. This is a good thing if you've got a hammer toe or you've got a little bit of a bunion. This is a good thing to do to kind of work with that. And a hammer toe is pretty common. Let me just say that. I won't say normal, because what is normal anyway, right? But it's pretty common, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're in shoes a lot. You know, we don't go through that flexion and extension on, what do you got, 33 joints in each foot? That's a whole lot of joints that we're not exercising if they're in shoes, right? Okay, a couple more, just kind of pressing down and releasing. And then we're going to press down and hold. Whew. So notice where you feel this in this foot. Maybe it's different than the other foot. You know, some people it might be more in the big toe area. Some people it might be more in the little toe area. So breathe in and breathe out. Great. And then relax that. You're going to come up over the top of the toes, and then we're going to stretch the top of the foot just like we did on the other side. So instead of stretching like that, now we're stretching like this. So pressing down. Good. And notice, now if you press more on the little toe side, you get a little bit more of a stretch here on the outer part of the leg. If you press more on the big toe side, it's going to be here on the center line or the inside. And by the way, you're pressing and releasing, right? So we're just doing a press and release for a few times. Sorry if I didn't say that. Breathing in, breathing out, because again, if you can't do this or this just isn't working this morning, that's your best thing to do, is just breathe. Notice your breath. And the next time you press down, I'm going to ask you to hold, and I'm going to ask you to hold in the way that gives you the most sensation. So for me, it's pressing on the little toe side of the foot. That gives me a whole lot more sensation in my lower leg and on the outside than if I were to press on the big toe side. Not so much. And this might be different on this side than the other. Because again, we use our bodies differently. It's how we move more than, how we're constructed. Breathe in, breathe out. Excellent. And then just kind of release that. We're going to take the foot out, extend it, just do a couple little wiggles for the toes. And then bend that knee. Place your feet kind of next to each other. Give them a little space between. Sit up nice and tall, shoulders over your hips. Close your eyes. Take a couple of breaths in and out and notice. Notice if both your feet feel flatter, wider, longer. Maybe they're warmer, more tingly. Maybe it's up into your ankles, your lower legs, so we did a lot of work for that as well. And then let your eyes open. Good. Okay, so we've done some work with the feet, and I want to move up now into the knees because this is another area that can be pretty problematic for a lot of us. So if you want to just have your hands right alongside your hips, we're just going to bend and extend the right leg. So just a nice, gentle bend and extend. Notice where you feel any limitations. Notice if when you extend, if you can really fully extend. When you bend, if you can really pull that heel back and really bend. So breathing in, breathing out. If this is too much, if you've got something happening in your hip, your leg, your knee, and you want to tap your heel and then tap your toe or even slide your foot, you can do that as well. Just keep your back nice and long and lengthened. Keep your breath smooth and even. Right? So the breath is always going to be your first indication that something is a little too much. If I'm going way beyond where my body can actually go, I'm going to hold my breath. Because that's just marshaling all those resources. Just one more time, we're going to finish with an extension. So that means with the leg straight. We're going to hold here, and we're just going to lift and lower the heel. And lift, and see if you can just tap your heel gently on the floor. If you need to rest and let your heel sit on the floor for a moment, you can do that as well. Keep the knees straight. So we're using these muscles here, quadriceps muscles. I talk about these a lot. The four muscles in the front of your thigh control your knee and your hip and your ability to remain independent. So being able to get up and down stairs, up and down from a chair, in and out of the car, on and off the toilet, all the things that are important to remaining independent, you need to have strength in these muscles. Next time you lift, hold and breathe. And bring your toes toward your knee a little bit more. Press out through your heel. Lengthen your spine. Relax your jaw because that will not hold your foot off the floor. Definitely won't. They're connected, but there's a series of joints in there, so it's not directly connected. And then we're going to lower that heel all the way down. Great. Bend your knee. Give that leg a little bit of a massage. Okay, and then we're going to go right to the other side. So hands on either side of your chair, of your hips. We're just going to bend and extend that knee as well. Oh, I hear some noise. Nice. That's good. Knees are noisy too, by the way. So I said necks are noisy, knees are noisy too. And that little, anybody hear crinkling in there? Yeah, that's something called crepitus. Crepitus is not a problem, generally. As long as you don't have pain with the crinkles, you're okay. If you have pain, that's a hard stop, right? That's all there is to it. And anybody with an aftermarket part in the knee, you'll notice that you don't have quite the same range of movement that you do with your original parts. And the next time you extend, I think that's the way it goes with everything, right? Anything aftermarket is not quite as good as the original. So pull your toes toward your knee a little bit more. And then we're going to lower and lift. So just tap the heel to the floor and then lift. So you should feel this right up here. Keep these muscles, these quadriceps muscles, really strong. In other words, don't let your leg relax. The way that you relax your quadriceps is by bending your knee, right? So that's relaxed. So you want to keep them active. Because what your quadriceps do is straighten that knee. Good. 20 more. Just kidding. Just making sure you're paying attention. Next time you lift, let's hold. Pull those toes up a little bit closer to your knee if you can. Squeeze these muscles a little bit more. There should be a little burning or tingling or complaining in there, right? A lot. Okay. Let's lower that down. Good job, you guys. Bend your knee. Whew. Give that thigh a little massage. All right. Wide awake now, right? Wide awake. All right, let's give a little stretch here. Take your right leg, cross it over your left. If you can get your knee on top of your knee, that's great. If that doesn't work for you, cross your ankle on top of your ankle. So we focused a lot here on the quadriceps muscles in the front. Then you have your adductor muscles on the inside and your abductor muscles on the outside. So the muscles on the inside, that's what we're working now. We're going to squeeze those inner thigh muscles together. Squeeze, squeeze. If you're crossing knee over knee, what you'll notice is that the outside of your right foot gets closer to the outside of your left leg. If you're ankle on top of ankle, what you're going to notice is your knees come together, and that prevents you from getting any more distance there. And then relax that. So we're just going to squeeze and relax and keep going. Now when you squeeze, especially if you're crossing knee over knee, notice how when you squeeze, you sit up a little taller. And when you release, you come down a little bit. So now you're getting your glutes involved too, right? Glutes are another really important muscle group, you guys, right? Your glutes are super important for walking. That's what gives you your stride, right? Your gluteal muscles help you walk. They're really excellent for running. How many of you are runners? No runners. Wrong group, sorry. How about X-runners? Yeah, okay, so we got X-runners, yeah. One more time. All right, and we'll release that. Now, let's take that ankle, cross it on top of the knee. Once more, if you can't get the ankle on the knee, that's okay. Do ankle on top of ankle. So we just worked the adductor muscles on the inside. Now we're going to work the abductor muscles on the outside. So you're going to pull your knee down toward the floor. If you're crossed here, ankle on top of ankle, it's the same thing. You're going to engage these muscles, pull that knee down toward the floor. So we're working muscles here on the outside of the leg, the outside of the hip. These are a little bit more of the glutes, and you're releasing and pulling down, right? So we're just pulling down, releasing. Pulling down, releasing. Breathing the whole time. More than just the minimum. Couple more. Awesome. Great. And then you can relax that. All right, let's take the back of that thigh. We're going to hold on to it. We're going to lift the knee toward the chin and move your chin as far away from your knee as you can by lengthening through your spine. Not by looking up, but by lengthening through your spine. So the more you pull your knee up, the taller your spine gets. Bring your head back a little bit. Yeah, because I see some folks with their chin like this. See if you can tuck it in a little bit. Breathe in, breathe out. And then let that go. Excellent. Whew. Let's go right to the other side. Take that left leg, cross it over. Knee on top of knee or ankle on top of ankle, whatever works for you. We're going to work the adductor muscles. I think of adductor is adding, right? So we're adding the legs together, so that's adductor muscles. So we're going to squeeze those adductor muscles, and if you've got your knee crossed on top of your knee, you're going to see the outside of your left foot get a little closer to the outside of your right leg, and you're just squeezing and releasing. Squeezing and releasing, and noticing if you're getting a whole body participation, right? So when you squeeze, do you sit up a little taller? When you release, do you kind of relax a little bit? And you want to keep both cheeks on the chair, by the way. So if you're squeezing by lifting, you're not getting those adductor muscles. One more time. Great. Okay, and then we're going to slide the ankle on top of the knee or ankle on top of ankle, right? So again, whichever. Now we're working the outside of the leg. Those are your abductor muscles. It's abductor instead of adductor, right? I wish they had given those muscles a different name because that's very confusing. So we're working these muscles in the outside of the hip, which is also kind of gluteal muscles here. We're going to pull that knee down toward the floor and then relax it and pull it down and relax it. If here, it's the same thing. We're pulling down and relaxing. Notice now your posture, especially if you're crossed in this fashion with the ankle on top of the knee. What tends to happen when you pull the knee down is this. So you really want to make sure your spine is tall. You can use a little bit of a prop here with your hands to go, oh yeah, my body wants to move in that little shrimp position, right, when I do this. How about just 2 more of these? I think we can do that. And breathing in, breathing out. Excellent. Is that 2? I think that's like 3. Okay. So now we're going to take this leg, hold on to the back of that leg, sit up really tall. We're going to bring the knee up toward the chin, but get the chin a little higher away from the knee. Breathe in, breathe out. Use your belly a little bit here too. That will help you get a little taller. Good. 2 more breaths if you can. Nice and smooth and steady. Great. And then slowly lower down. Excellent. Okay, bring your feet a little wider apart than your hips. Hold on to your chair just so you don't go sliding off. And what we're going to do is just bring the knees from side to side like a little bit of a windshield wiper here. Right? Okay. And then let's do British windshield wipers. They're like that over there, aren't they? They drive on the wrong side of the road. They have weird windshield wipers. All right, and then we'll relax that, bring your feet back together, and let's sit comfortably. So if you want to sit back into the back of your chair, you can do that. Yeah. Take a breath and let it out with a sigh, and when you do, close your eyes. And check in with your body. So notice we started out our movement practice this morning with all those neck stretches. Notice what your neck feels like right now. Notice your back and your arms, your shoulders. We did quite a bit of work with the shoulders. We did a bit of work with the spine when we were twisting and bringing the arms from side to side and then around the body. And down into your hips, your gluteal muscles, right? So the muscles in the back and the side of your hips, those are your glutes. The ones in the back are your gluteus maximus, and the ones on the side are your medius. And then what about your thighs, those quadriceps muscles, and the adductor muscles, and the abductor muscles? Your shins, we did some stretching for the shins, the ankles, the toes. We did an awful lot of work with the toes. So notice what your toes feel like in the bottoms of your feet. And notice the whole front of your body, from your forehead right down to your toenails. And notice the whole back of your body, from the crown of your head all the way down to your heels, to the bottoms of your feet. And your right side and your left side. And remembering how it felt. Your right foot, your left foot. Your ability to turn to the right, to turn to the left with your neck, your arms. So all those things that we view as symmetrical, there's some differences there. And it's not only good to recognize the differences in different parts of your body, but also to celebrate that. Even the parts that don't work the way you want them to, they work the way they work. And finally, resting your awareness in your breath and the way that the air moves in and out of your body. the movement that you feel on the inhalations and exhalations. Your belly, your rib cage, your collarbones, your back, your chest, the sides of your body, even up under your armpits. As you breathe in and out, is the breath fast or slow, shallow or deep? Is the air warm or cool, or is it both? And the way that the breath creates movement in your body. This is a movement that's been going on since the moment you took your first breath. It changes in its scope, it changes in its ability, but that movement is essential for life. If you're breathing in and out very shallowly and there's not a lot of movement in your body, there's not a lot of life moving in and out of your body. The cells aren't becoming oxygenated enough. Your blood doesn't carry enough oxygen. Those long, slow, deep breaths nourish your body in a way that a short, shallow breath can't. And the breath has a profound effect on your nervous system. When you breathe shallowly or your breathing is quick, fast, that keeps your nervous system in a state of high alert, which we are not designed for, you guys. We are not designed to be in a constant state of high alert. When you can switch to those long, slow, deep breaths, that turns off the nervous system, that turns down that alert signal. And when you feel like you have no control over what's going on, the one thing you can turn to for that sense of control is your breathing. You can choose to deepen the breath and watch it move in and out, forgetting all the things that are outside of your control, which is pretty much everything, and simply focusing on that which you have control over right now, and that's your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Slowly, deeply, consciously nourishing your body with breath, calming your nervous system with breath. Breathing is like a universal balm for your health. Breathing in and breathing out. As you continue to inhale and exhale deeply, take your hands up to your heart. Just let your palms rest on your chest. You might rest your right hand on your chest and cover your right with your left, or let both hands rest on your chest. And just feel the movement underneath your hands. Again, as you breathe in and out deeply. And then bring your palms together. Take a moment and just appreciate yourself. So take a moment in gratitude for your light, your wisdom, your compassion, and eternal beauty. And then if you'd like, maybe opening your eyes and just acknowledging that same wisdom, light, compassion, and beauty in all of these amazing faces in the room and at home. Wow, great. You're so welcome. Enjoy the rest of this gorgeous day out here, you guys. And and we'll see you next week, 9:30.